Hi, my name's Sian James and I'm speaking for Life, the Basic Manual. And I'm going to take a few minutes to pass on to you tactics I've developed, personally and professionally, over the years on the topic of breaking bad news. It's a tense thing to do and it's something people often shy away from, sometimes afraid that they'll make it worse for the person they're breaking news to, or maybe afraid that they will be overwhelmed by the reaction of the person who's hearing the bad news. There are definitely some basic things that you can do to help you manage this situation. And life on this planet is at best uncertain. The chances are, at some point in yours, you'll have to pass on news that may alter the course of somebody else's life forever. So the first thing I would suggest that you do is make sure that the facts you have are correct. After that, prepare yourself for what it is you're about to do. If this is a loss that has also affected you, take some time separately to manage your own reactions before you try and pass the news on to anybody else. Think ahead in terms of what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. Rehearse it in your head or out loud. Think about the environment in which you're going to break the news. Try and avoid crowded rooms, roadsides, anything that feels less safe and less contained. An important factor is finding a third person to be present when you break the news, ideally someone that the person who will be hearing the news knows and trusts, and who can act as a support to them after they've heard what it is that you need to say. When you're breaking the news itself, try and find a balance between being direct and abrupt. What many people tend to do at this point is talk around the topic, partly because they're afraid to say what needs to be said. What this often does is heighten the anxiety of the person that's listening to you. So it's absolutely fine to start with, "I'm afraid I have some bad news." Make sure that you follow that start up with the facts, as you know them, simply and concisely delivered. "I'm afraid I have some bad news. Your partner has been seriously injured in a road traffic accident." And after that point, proceed from the assumption everything else you say will probably be lost to the effects of shock. Shock is a nasty habit of shutting down our higher cognitive functions. People who have shared afterwards how they felt when bad news has been broken to them often talk about a complete loss of memory, a complete loss of comprehension, or remembering vividly but just being entirely unable to believe what's being said to them. Disbelief is a very common reaction, so prepare to be questioned, prepare even for your listener to become angry or agitated. Repeat patiently, as often as you need to, the basic facts until you feel they can comprehend them. The greatest thing you can bring to this situation is your own compassion. Having said that, avoid false reassurance. Saying it will be okay is a blatantly false statement if you're breaking the news of sudden traumatic loss. But kindness is never wasted, and people who have afterwards reflected on this experience have often said that the difference between coping with the situation and not being able to cope was simply the emotional generosity of the person breaking the news to them. So don't hesitate to say that you are sorry for their loss. And be prepared to stay with them for as long as it is that it takes them to really understand what it is that you've said. It may be that there are immediate issues that fall out from this news, and if you can help them process that, that's a great kindness. Make sure that if there are children to be picked up from school, medications to be taken to a patient's bedside, that they have a clear idea of what it is that they need to do next. If it's a family member you're dealing with, the likelihood is that you will continue to be involved in this situation. If this is a one-off and it's a situation that you are stepping out of and not stepping back into, make sure that the person you've broken the news to is clear on the next point of accountability that they can go to for further information. As you leave this situation, there's one final thing I'd like to say to you because it's a point that's frequently missed. Please make sure that after you've had the experience of breaking bad news to someone, whether or not it's a personal loss, you debrief the experience with somebody you trust. That might be a boss, it might be your clinical supervisor, it might be a trusted friend, it might be a family member who's less closely affected. Because whether or not you're conscious of your reactions to the seriousness of what you've just done, you will undoubtedly have them. And you will maintain your own emotional robustness and equilibrium in the process of debriefing. So I hope this has been of use to you. Thank you for listening. And if there's anything further you'd like to learn on this topic, please don't hesitate to go and look at the longer piece on our YouTube channel, Life the Basic Manual. And we really welcome your comments, your feedback, your experience of this topic. Thank you.